A new report from the minority staff of the Senate's Committee on Foreign Relations details Russian President Vladimir Putin, quote, assault on democracy in Russia and Europe. The document was commissioned by the Democratic senator from Maryland, Senator Ben Cardin. RT correspondent Anya Parampil brings us the story.
Senator Cardin's report relies on some U.S. government-funded sources, including media outlets such as Voice of America and Radio Free Europe, as well as a correspondent for NATO's Strategic Communications Center of Excellence. Perhaps it's no surprise then much of the report is preoccupied with Putin's anti-NATO agenda and documents how Russia responds to U.S. government-funded media like VOA through its own state-funded media, like this very network. RT and Sputnik News earned an entire section in the report titled The Kremlin's Disinformation Platforms. It relies on a report by defense think tank RAND Corporation, which describes RT as infotainment and disinformation. It accuses RT and Sputnik of targeting, quote, both far-right and far-left elements of Western societies, environmentalists, civil rights activists, and minorities for viewership. It advises the U.S. government to pump, quote, more American popular culture into Europe, citing the popularity of VOA and Radio Free Europe as a positive antidote to Russian, quote, active measures. There is naturally no irony in the fact those outlets are merely the American equivalent of RT and Sputnik. As journalist Max Blumenthal noted on Twitter, quote, the report recommends a major defense buildup, expansion of NATO, preemptive sanctions on new countries, and reinforcement of the war on terror apparatus to wage a new Cold War. Thanks to Russiagate, liberals will blindly support this neocon wish list. Indeed, the report says the U.S. should coordinate sanctions with the EU, which makes it worth mentioning the last round of sanctions the U.S. imposed on Russia were in fact opposed by the European Union. Ultimately, the report fails to highlight anything new, though it will likely be used to justify more spending on U.S. government-funded media and, of course, defense contracts. Speaking at a news conference on Thursday, Russian President Vladimir Putin denied claims Russia had interfered in internal U.S. affairs. In Washington, Anya Parampil, RT.